Chapter 1. The Prince with the Problem. In the heart of the ancient kingdom of Umudyke, where the sun's golden rays danced through the verdant trees, there lived a prince named Ez. He was the son of King Amechi, a ruler known for his wisdom and valor. Despite his royal lineage, Ez was burdened with a problem that overshadowed his noble heritage, his strong body odor. This, combined with his portly stature, made him the subject of whispers and avoidance. Ez's problem was not of his making. From a young age, he had been plagued by an inexplicable scent that no amount of herbs, oils, or traditional remedies could eliminate. His parents, desperate to find a cure, had consulted the most renowned healers from neighboring villages, yet none could offer a solution. Ez grew up isolated, his heart heavy with the loneliness that came from being shunned by those who should have been his friends. As Ez reached the age of marriage, the situation grew more dire. In Umudyke, it was customary for a prince to choose a bride from among the noble families. However, no woman was willing to marry a man with such an overpowering odor. The palace halls, once filled with suitors and festive songs, now echoed with silence and the weight of Ez's unspoken sorrow. One day, King Amechi summoned his council of elders. "We must find a solution," he declared. "My son cannot live his life alone and unhappy. We must seek help beyond our borders, beyond what we know." The council, a group of wise and respected men, nodded in agreement. They proposed sending emissaries to distant lands to seek out knowledge and remedies unknown to Umudyke. Among these emissaries was Chinadu, the king's trusted advisor and a man of great intellect and resourcefulness. Chinadu embarked on his journey, traveling through dense forests, across vast savannas, and over treacherous mountains. He visited kingdoms where the stars were said to hold secrets, and where ancient scrolls whispered of forgotten cures. Yet, despite his efforts, no solution was found. Meanwhile, in Umudyke, Ez's despair deepened. He spent his days wandering the palace gardens, lost in thought, and his nights in restless dreams. One evening, as he sat beneath a towering baobab tree, he heard a soft voice call his name. Startled, he looked around, but saw no one. "Ez," the voice whispered again, "why do you weep alone?" From the shadows emerged an old woman, her eyes sharp and knowing. She was Mozi, the village's mysterious oracle, known for her cryptic messages and rare appearances. Her presence commanded respect and a certain fear, for she was believed to commune with the spirits. Mozi greeted her with a bow. "I weep for my fate. No woman will have me, and I fear I am destined to live my life alone." Mozi studied him for a moment before speaking. "Your fate is not sealed, young prince. The solution you seek lies not in distant lands, but within your own heart and actions." Ez frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" "You must embark on a journey," Mozi said, her voice soft but firm. "A journey of self-discovery and bravery. Only through this will you find the answers you seek and the cure for your affliction." Ez's heart raced with a mixture of hope and apprehension. Where must I go? What must I do? Mozi's eyes glimmered with a secret knowledge. Follow the path of the setting sun. Seek out the forest of spirits, where the boundaries between our world and the spirit realm blur. There you will face trials that will test your courage, wisdom, and heart. As she spoke, the wind rustled the leaves above, and the air grew thick with an otherworldly presence. "Remember, Mozi continued, the journey will not be easy, and you may face dangers beyond your imagination. But if you are true to yourself and face your fears, you will find what you seek." With that, she turned and disappeared into the shadows, leaving Ez with a mixture of dread and determination. He knew his journey would be perilous, but it was a chance to change his fate. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in hues of orange and red, it steeled himself for the path ahead. Chapter 2. The Forest of Spirits. As dawn broke over Umudike, casting a warm golden glow on the kingdom, Prince Ez prepared for his journey. He donned his travel clothes, sturdy and simple, leaving behind the opulence of his royal garments. His father, King Amechi, and his mother, Queen Adana, watched with a mix of pride and anxiety. "Ez, my son," King Amechi said, placing a hand on his shoulder, "you carry the hopes of our kingdom with you. Be brave, be wise, and remember that you are never truly alone. The spirits of our ancestors watch over you." Queen Adana hugged her son tightly, tears welling in her eyes. "Stay safe, Ez. May the gods guide your steps and protect you from harm." With a final nod, Ez set out on his journey, his heart filled with determination. He walked through the village, past the familiar sights and sounds of his home, and into the dense, ancient forest that bordered Umudike. This forest, known as the Forest of Spirits, was a place of legend and mystery. Few dared to venture deep within its boundaries, where it was said that the spirits of the past roamed freely, and the veil between the mortal world and the spirit realm was thin, as his path was illuminated by shafts of sunlight breaking through the dense canopy. The air was thick with the scent of earth and foliage, and the forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. As he walked, he felt a strange sense of anticipation and unease, as if the forest itself was aware of his presence. Hours turned into days as he ventured deeper into the forest. He encountered many wonders and dangers along the way. There were streams of crystal clear water, hidden groves filled with vibrant flowers, and ancient trees that seemed to whisper secrets as the wind passed through their branches. But there were also pitfalls, venomous creatures, and eerie sounds that echoed in the darkness, making him question his resolve. One evening, as his mate camped by a small, babbling brook, he was approached by a figure shrouded in mist. It was an old man with a long, white beard and eyes that seemed to see beyond the present. Ez recognized him as one of the forest's spirit guides, a being who could help or hinder his journey. "Greetings, young prince," the old man said, his voice carrying a timeless quality. "I am Obina, guardian of this forest. What brings you to these ancient woods?" Ez, though wary, recounted his tale, his affliction, his loneliness, and the advice of Mosi, the oracle. Obina listened intently, his expression unreadable. "You seek the forest of spirits and the trials within," Obina said finally. "Many have come seeking answers, but few have succeeded. The path ahead is fraught with peril, and you must be prepared to face your deepest fears." Ez nodded, his resolve unwavering. "I am ready, Obina. I will do whatever it takes to find a cure and change my fate." The old man studied him for a moment before speaking again. "Very well, Ez, your first trial awaits. Follow the brook until you reach the clearing with the ancient baobab tree. There you will find your first challenge. Remember, bravery and wisdom are your greatest allies." With that, Obina vanished into the mist, leaving us to ponder his words. The prince rested for the night, his mind filled with thoughts of what lay ahead. As dawn broke, he resumed his journey, following the brook as instructed. After several hours, he arrived at a clearing dominated by an enormous baobab tree. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, its branches stretching out like the arms of a giant. Beneath the tree stood 3 figures, cloaked in shadow. As Ez approached, they stepped forward, revealing themselves as spirits of the forest, to men and a woman, their eyes glowing with an ethereal light. "Welcome, Princess," the woman said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "I am Kiru, and these are my brothers, Jide and Omega. We are the keepers of the first trial. Ez bowed respectfully. What must I do? Jide, the elder of the two brothers, spoke. You must face your greatest fear. We will show you visions of what you dread most, and you must confront them with courage and wisdom. Only then can you move forward. Ez's heart pounded in his chest, but he nodded. I am ready. The spirits circled around him, chanting in a language older than time itself. The air grew thick with a strange energy, and Ez felt himself being drawn into a realm of visions. He saw scenes of rejection, of people recoiling from him, of living a life of solitude. The pain and fear were overwhelming, but Ez stood firm, reminding himself of his purpose. As the visions intensified, he remembered Marcy's words about facing his fears. Drawing strength from within, he spoke aloud. I am more than my affliction. I have a heart and a soul that are strong. I will not let fear dictate my fate. With those words, the visions began to fade, and the spirits stepped back, their faces now showing approval. You have done well, Princess, Omega said, his voice filled with respect. You faced your fears with courage and wisdom. The first trial is complete. Nkiru stepped forward and handed Ez a small, intricately carved wooden amulet. This amulet represents the strength you have shown. Keep it with you, for it will guide you in the trials to come. Ez thanked the spirits and continued his journey, the amulet hanging around his neck. He felt a new sense of confidence and determination, bolstered by his success in the first trial. The path through the forest seemed less daunting now, as if the trees themselves were encouraging him. Chapter 3. The Enchanted River. Days turned into weeks as Ez ventured deeper into the forest, following the path laid out for him by the spirits. His journey led him to the edge of a wide, shimmering river. The water was a deep, crystalline blue, and its surface seemed to sparkle with an ethereal light. This was the Enchanted River, a place of great power and mystery. Ez approached the riverbank cautiously. He had heard tales of the river's magic, of how it could reveal hidden truths and grant unimaginable strength to those who proved worthy. As he stood there, contemplating his next move, the water began to ripple, and a figure emerged from its depths. It was a beautiful woman with long, flowing hair and eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe. She was Olama, the river's guardian, a spirit of great wisdom and power. Greetings, Princess, Olama said, her voice like the melody of a gentle stream. You have come to the Enchanted River seeking answers and strength. But to receive its gifts, you must pass the second trial. Ez bowed respectfully. I am ready, Olama. What must I do? The river guardian smiled. To pass this trial, you must navigate the river's treacherous currents and reach the island at its center. There, you will find a sacred spring, drink from it, and you will be granted a vision that will guide you on your journey. But be warned, the river's currents are strong and unpredictable, and many have been swept away by its power. Ez felt a knot of apprehension in his stomach, but steeled himself. He had come too far to turn back now. I will face this challenge, he said with determination. Olama nodded and extended her hand. A small boat, crafted from reeds and bound with vines, appeared at the water's edge. This boat will carry you, but you must use your strength and wits to navigate the river. Ez climbed into the boat and took hold of the oars. As he pushed off from the shore, the river's currents immediately began to tug at the vessel, threatening to pull it off course. Ez rowed with all his might, fighting against the powerful forces of the water. The river seemed to come alive around him, its currents twisting and turning with a will of their own. Ez's arms ached from the effort, but he pressed on, his mind focused on the island in the distance. The water splashed and roared, trying to deter him. But Ez's determination was unwavering. At one point, the boat was nearly capsized by a sudden surge of water. But Ez managed to right it just in time. He realized that brute strength alone would not see him through. He needed to be smart and strategic. He began to read the currents, using their power to his advantage rather than fighting against them. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Ez reached the island. He pulled the boat ashore and climbed onto solid ground, his body exhausted but his spirit triumphant. In the center of the island was the sacred spring, its water clear and inviting. Ez approached the spring and knelt beside it. He cupped his hands and drank deeply, the cool water refreshing him. As he drank, a vision began to form before his eyes. He saw himself standing before a great waterfall, its waters cascading down in a thunderous roar. Behind the waterfall was a hidden cave, filled with ancient treasures and secrets. "You have done well," Olama's voice echoed in his mind. "The vision you have seen is your next destination. The waterfall holds the key to your journey and the answers you seek." Ez felt a surge of hope and determination. He thanked Olama and made his way back to the boat. The journey back across the river was no less challenging, but Ez felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that each trial brought him closer to his goal. That's the end of part 1. The part 2 will be dropping next. Kindly subscribe. Join us on Telegram to stay updated. Also turn on your bell notifications icon to stay updated so as not to miss any update. Don't forget to like and drop your comments of what you think might happen next as regards to Ez's predicament.